perhaps the ocean's cutest and smartest mammals. Common dolphins are well known for their smile, shape, and for being quite playful. While we can't prove this scientifically, some have suggested that the common dolphin could be serial rapists. Hi, I'm Jacob, and this is Video Reality. We hope you enjoy our new direction on the channel as we take a look at some of the real-life counterparts to some of our favorite video game animals. And for the first episode, we're going to start off with a favorite of yours as well as mine, Ecco the Dolphin. Hey! No way we're doing that! Welcome back to Game Reviews. Ecco the Dolphin for the Sega CD. It's the early 90s. Sega's Genesis is starting to take over the console market, claiming to do what Nintendo didn't with 16-bit arcade blast processing, and a certain Blue Hedgehog among other titles helped improve sales. Once the Super Nintendo came into existence in 1991, the 16-bit console war began to take shape with both Nintendo and Sega competing on all fronts in the market, especially when it came to software. Extremely late into 1992, a new Genesis exclusive developed by Appaloosa, formerly Novotrade, graced the platform. Known as Ecco the Dolphin, it was praised for its unique gameplay and visuals for the time. 2 months earlier, on October 15th, Sega introduced the Sega CD, an add-on for the Genesis capable of playing 16-bit CD games. And it played plenty of them, from new classics, some of the FMV equation, and other upgraded ports of Genesis games, which also included in the next year, Ecco the Dolphin. This port was released on June 23rd, 1993, and I couldn't find any critical response related to this version, but I wouldn't doubt it's more or less the same. Producer and designer Ed Annunziata worked tediously on research and not making the game too easy. He's even quoted as saying he was paranoid about kids renting the game over the weekend, so he made it hard. So this isn't a cutesy action-adventure game. It's gonna be as difficult as dolphins escaping the cove. I don't mind a challenge, but I'm quite curious what he means. Is this Disney Genesis hard or its own kind of difficult? We'll find out soon enough as we take a better look at Ecco the Dolphin. The adventure begins innocently enough. Ecco is with his pod being all glee and enjoying life beneath the waves. Hopefully this sets up perfectly for the game ahead. Transitioning to in-game graphics, I'm controlling Ecco. You can tell him apart by the stars on his head. Hope he was born with them and didn't get them from SeaWorld. If you couldn't tell by now, this is a water-based game. I'm gonna hate this game already. Hanging out with my fellow dolphins, I'm immediately challenged by one of them wanting to know how high I can jump out of the water. I got stars, my bottlenose friend. I'm one with the sky. Not one to back down from a challenge. I do my best and leap. What in the world was that? All I know is that was the stuff nightmares are made of. I move on to the next screen and nobody really knows what's going on. I search around looking for answers, but I also take this time to learn the controls. The C button makes you swim faster, the B button is your typical attack button, which makes Ecco charge at various foes and can either take them out or stun them. The A button makes Ecco sing his song, which is basically used to communicate with fellow dolphins or other creatures. It could also be mistaken for an attack. I mean, it obviously looks like one of those types of power-ups you could get in a basic shmup. Ecco also has a health bar. He can only breathe underwater for a certain period of time, so when you can, it's best to seek air. Realism in a video game, not every day you see that. This is what I was gonna highlight on my show. Jake, 1, knock, 2, get the hell out of here. So I found this orca that tells me to go find Big Blue in my search for answers. While I'm at it, I'm introduced to these glyphs that I'll explain the significance of in a second. For now, we're advancing into our first true level. Now, the glyphs act as your main line of progression. You have to find one that acts as a key, then find the corresponding glyph to let you move forward, which can be a little tough as they all look the same, and you'll only find out if it locks or unlocks if a glyph moves or tells you to fuck off. So you're going to spend a good amount of time looking around levels figuring out what to do. You could help matters by pressing and holding the A button to use echolocation, which can let you see a certain part of the level relative to you and what's in it, but it'll have to depend on if you have time to breathe. Sometimes it might be hard to get some air if you're like me and have no idea where to go, and mixed in with all the enemies you'll encounter, you're gonna get hit. A lot. You basically have 2 meters, one for damage and the other for air. If your damage meter runs out, you'll die, but you can continue where you left off depending on if you got through a barrier glyph. But believe me, it's going to take a while to figure out exactly where the game wants you to go in some levels, so you might be drowning more often than not. Well, I got to the next level, but I want to sum up all the levels as they all have the same common problem. They're all very difficult for new players. I couldn't tell you how long I struggled to figure out what the hell I was trying to do on every single one of them. Usually you have to just find the right glyphs to continue on, or maybe do a certain task on some other levels, which will lead you to the glyphs as it is, but you're going to be doing a lot of trial and error as you'll have no idea where exactly to go as it isn't made clear. I even struggled with the controls too. Ecco can sometimes be a chore with turning and even jumping. It's worth it when you hit it, but it might take you 5 minutes. Like myself. Now I feel for those that try to teach him some tricks. The layout with most levels, as you can imagine, are gonna infuriate you at times as you're gonna worry for your life where you're able to get air. That mechanic itself is going to piss you off as you get farther because you're going to have to manage your pacing with your meter, so you're going to have to pick up the pace if you want to survive, which can likely cost you when you run into more lethal shit. Move it, octopus! They call him Ecco, Ecco, who can drown underwater if you don't swim faster. Glub, glub, glub. It can be hard to explain these controls and overall gameplay unless you're actually playing it with me. But if you can bear with it, good on you, as you'd be in for a half-decent story. After finding Big Blue, he sends you to the asteroid, which sends you to Atlantis. Because of course you have to fit the Lost City in somewhere. You'll eventually learn that your pod was taken by aliens known as the Vortex. Time travel is involved and you get to ride a pteranodon because you're a badass and not potential food. You'll have to defeat the asteroid in the past to help the asteroid of the present, and it'll grant you special abilities which will absolutely come into play in just a while. We go back to when our pod was taken and we go with them this time. And now we get introduced to the hardest levels of the game, the tube and Welcome to the Machine, which combine 2 of my favorite types of levels, water and auto-scrollers. This game can literally suck my tentacle schlong, and I thought getting past the seahorses was bad enough. The tube isn't too bad compared to what comes after it, but there is so much precision and newfound crap that's going to get in your way, it's also a struggle in its own right. Now the machine, Oh man, have I heard horror stories about. This level is too damn long and you have little room to fail as you have to account for all the BS that is gonna come your way. Not only will you be at the whim of the auto-scroller that may crush you against the walls if you're not prepared to go with it, but you also got these vortex minions that are really OP. You can shoot them, sure, but they take 2 hits and have free reign around the whole level, and these controls aren't helping matters at all. I guarantee you'll be doing this over more than 50 times. If you make it on the first time, just admit it's an emulator, I won't judge. Even I couldn't get past this level. I was so mad at this section in general. Thankfully, there is a password to use so you can skip that level to the final boss, so I took advantage of it. It's probably worth skipping that torture chamber, cause then you can go against... I couldn't imagine this game getting more nightmarish than this. I could see myself getting scared of this game if I was a toddler, but that is the Vortex Queen. And she is a bitch. She has her weak points that you have to find and take out, like her eyeballs and glass jaws. And she also has her minions, which are more of a nightmare than she ever was. If you do screw up here, do you want to guess what happens? No, you don't restart at the boss. You go back to the machine. Nope. I'm done. I am done. Enough of that bullshit. The ending's not even worth it. You save your pod, ponder about the sequel, and then the credits. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to show you it for myself, but there were so many terrible choices on the part of myself and the game that I can take before I throw in the fin and say that's enough. But that is how you play, at least in its condensed form. Most of the levels I glossed over cause it's most of the same stuff. But there is more to it if you decided to stick around. I won't sugarcoat it. This game is as tough as a hurricane and I found it mighty difficult at some points, but I wanted to show off what I could and man, it was more than I bargained for. I can't say if I like or hate this game just yet. I need to cool off real quick and compose myself. But we still got other points to hit, so let's move right along. The music was recomposed by Spencer Nilsson, and the one thing the Sega CD really had going for it was the sound quality, and this game exemplified it. The difference between the original Genesis twang and CD quality audio is obviously noticeable and welcome. I would describe it as very atmospheric, akin to the Donkey Kong Country Water levels, but can be both calming and concerning depending on the level or situation. I'd give it a listen outside of playing the game. Hell, I'd even try to find that album released in '96. I think the tunes are good enough to be part of my music setup. By the way, did you know Pink Floyd had an influence? Not only was their music the basis for the team, but the level Welcome to the Machine was named after the song Welcome to the Machine. Not sure knowing that would put me at ease or not. You may assume there may not be any more of a difference between this and the original Genesis port of Ecco, but you'd be wrong, just like with every other assumption with this game. For one thing, you've got a few extra levels that were in the original Genesis release. Along the way, there's a couple subtle changes between the two versions that you may notice if you play for an extended period. Not gonna tell you them specifically, cause I'm not that much of a nerd. Other extras can help you get through the game without all the hassle of restarting from scratch. There is a password system, for example, that you can swim towards on the left at the start, and if you know the codes, you can go to whatever level you desire. But another way to do the same thing is accessing the debug menu. By pausing at the right moment when Echo is facing you, then hitting right BC, down C, up, you can have access to level selection, play some sound effects, have unlimited life, and more. Like I said, I did take advantage of these cheats, if you want to call them that, only the password system anyway, because I had no idea what I was doing at points and wanted to show off more of the game to y'all. A little depressed that I couldn't get through some levels or the game normally, but as it was designed to not be beaten in quick fashion, what else can you do? I couldn't find how this port of the game sold, but I do know the game was a bestseller overall, so much so that it got additional games during its prime and a reimagining later down the line. A sequel was in the works but never materialized, though a prototype of the proposed sequel was found in 2016. Over the years, the original game has been ported to multiple systems, either through digital stores or combo packs, but there hasn't been another release in the series since 2001. Not without lack of trying. In 2013, Ed Annunziata tried to kickstart a spiritual successor called The Big Blue, though fell short of his goal. 3 years later, Annunziata reached a settlement with Sega in regard to legal rights and ownership to the franchise, so who knows? We could see a new entry on the Nintendo Switch or Dreamcast 2 in the future. So, what is my rate to play? I would be lying if I said I wasn't looking forward to playing this. There's a reason I put most, if not some, games on the list for game reviews. But after playing it, I sure as hell was not expecting what I played. I may be a noob when it comes to Echo, but the controls are a real hassle to get used to for my money. It may be realistic, but realism doesn't always constitute good gameplay. It does have plenty going for it. Visuals are impressive, music is better, and the story is interesting, but the overall difficulty mixed with the trial and error aspect of some levels kinda blows this game right out of the blowhole for me. It's a challenge for sure, one that I definitely will need more time with. Not sure if it'll win me around, as I'd rather not play it again for a spell, but there is something here. You can take it or leave it with Ecco the Dolphin, but if I learn anything from a game like this, it's to not take a game with a dolphin lightly. Think a game starring a dolphin would be easy? Think again. To conclude, I give this game a play rate of... should play. But that's only my opinion. If you have your own thoughts, leave a comment. If you like what you see, leave a like. If you think others would enjoy this, share it around the web. And if you want to see more, subscribe. Anyway, this has been BrianTheBlue Game Reviews, Ecco the Dolphin, for the Sega CD. Brian here, want to quickly say thanks for watching this game review, as this and other content wouldn't be possible without you. I appreciate anyone and everyone who watches my videos from all across the world, but it alarms me that over 80% of viewers aren't subscribed to the channel. So I'd like to reiterate and ask you to subscribe as well as ringing the bell to stay notified. That way you can stay up to date with future content that'll appear on the Jacobians channel. Presently I put out new quick views and current calamities every month, and my brother Alex has a brand new show all about wrestling games called WrestleBound. You might want to stick around, as we're only getting started. You can also find me on a couple of other channels. I run the Starfighters Arcade channel, where we take a look at the history of our machines on the floor as well as show you our new arrivals, and on Millennial X, where me, arcade buddies, and family get into shenanigans playing, hunting, and reviewing games. If you want to explore more content, these would be the first places to go. That's all the time I got, but be sure to click the icon now if you want to watch the previous or upcoming episodes of Game Reviews.
Dolphins breathe air, though they live in the sea. We know that dolphins' ancestors originally inhabited the land. Why did they migrate to the sea? More than 50 million years ago, the ancient land-living ancestors foraged for fish and other foods in warm, shallow tides of the previous. We think they returned to follow the fish